FTI community member and an incredibly talented artist. He is a singer and songwriter. He is a multi-instrumentalist, which we will talk a lot about. He is a music encyclopedia, just like Emerson Corleone. FTI community, please help me welcome Johann to the In Your Studio podcast. What is going on?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Hell
I feel like a boxer or a UFC fighter walking towards the ring, and my announcer guy is listing all my credentials. That was awesome. Thank you.
The Bruce Buffer of podcast.
Exactly. That's dude. Bruce Buffer, more like Matt Ryder, dude.
Boom.
Boom. FTI's finest.
Yeah, I appreciate my face is already red, and we are 57 seconds into this. No. How has recording with Alex been going? Like, how's that going?
Oh man, it's been going amazingly. I mean, well, time passes by when you're having a good time with friends, and it's just one of those things where Alex and I, both of us, so we met in 2017. I'm going to try to keep this as succinct as possible because I don't want to bore you with a
No,
long
you're
ass.
good, my friend.
I don't
You're
want to
good.
bore you or the FTI viewers with boring ass lore.
No, you're good.
But no, Alex and I met in 2017, and then just from there we've been close friends, and I'm happy to say that he's legitimately one of my best friends in the entire universe. And we actually, yeah, we got really close even before either of us knew that we were musicians, you know? So yeah, so just having that that solid foundation of a friendship there, just translated so much more into making music with him. And yeah, to keep the answer as short as I can, yeah, it's just been wonderful. And I trust that it's gonna be a lifelong partnership with him. I can't speak for him, but at least on my end, on my end, I hope it's a Alex. Please keep me in your life,
Please.
please.
I am more than confident that feeling is reciprocated from Alex to you as well. I was with Alex last night, and
Hmm.
just taking every second to really soak in the conversation we were having. Like, we were jumping all over, and he's so incredibly passionate about helping
Hmm.
other musicians,
Hmm.
not even musicians, like artists, just talk about what they're doing, how he can help, how he wants to get others involved. So
Hmm.
inevitably near the end of the conversation, I told him about this, and he's like, man, that's gonna be so sick. Because
Yeah.
Tyler and Hunter were there as well. And I was like, yeah, man,
Hmm.
it'll be like a trifecta. Now we just need Animal Boy and Excuse Me. And
I
then we
know,
really hit the five
precisely.
piece.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm gonna jump right in the time machine, as we do quite often, because I want to go to the
Yes, sir.
very beginning. You got your music start in the music world as a
Hmm.
drummer for multiple bands in your school years. You not only had the opportunity to play behind the drum kit, but you were also working on your music at the same time. But
Hmm.
you took the opportunity from being the man playing the drums for these bands in high school and other experiences, and you found the light in the earliest years of the pandemic, kind of putting all these songs into one, releasing Johann demos for the world to really see the man
Hmm.
behind the drums now being at the front of the stage, not being able to collaborate with others in person. Quickly turned into you collaborating with others in person, such as Alex. You now have a full length featured album, Surrendering Sunday, and also having the show, which is on May 23rd, which I hope is today when this podcast drops.
Hmm.
You've taken these last 5 years to really hone your craft, find your sound, and share yourself and your interests with the world. But for those who do not know Johann, who is Johann?
Uh, Hi. I'm
Hey.
I'm Hey everyone. I'm Johan. I'm from Toronto. I'm a musician from Toronto, from Scarborough specifically. Yeah, no, like you were saying, Matt, I did for pretty much all my life. Like I been playing the drums mostly. To this day I still identify as a drummer. Like when I think it's just such an easy thing to revert back to, like, oh yeah, what do you do? Oh, I'm a drummer. You know, it's such an easier thing to say as opposed to, oh, I'm a singer-songwriter who makes songs and plays all the instruments and stuff. You know, like it just I'm a drummer, you know?
Yes.
But yeah, like you were alluding to, like it as awful as the pandemic was for, you know, all of us, one of the small good things that came out of it was it did give me the opportunity to really flesh out these songs that I had written, had in the vault for quite some time. And yeah, not having the access to jam with other people really does isolation really does provide a force into being creative, and I'm pretty sure other artists can attest to that as well. Yeah, like when you can't go outside, when you can't hang out with your homies in person, like it just you got to do something, you know, you can't remain idle. At least with the kind of brain that I have, I just got going to work. Um and yeah, like with Johann demos, funny enough, like we me and not Alex Laskowskis, but another Alex, and me, Alex, and Miguel, so two of my friends, we actually mixed and produced that record over Skype. Throughout the
Understood. Okay.
Yeah, we did that demo tape EP thing over Skype because I don't know, at the time Zoom didn't have a comprehensive uh thing that they got for musicians to work together, but Skype hopped on it immediately, which was, I don't know, good for them. They figured it out quickly. Um, yeah, but yeah, we did Johann demos, and yeah, it's just since 2020, I've just been plugging away slowly, evolving, hopefully with each song, with each project that we put out. And I think it's been going pretty well so far.
I would agree a million times over, man. Little side note,
Hmm.
University of Guelph musicians, that page
Yes,
introduced you and I together, and
that's right.
you
Yeah.
were you were one of the first artists in the music realm that I already didn't know of because it was a really like close music realm of FTI community members. I would say like they were like from Guelph or like
Hmm.
Wednesday in Iowa. Like it was usually me reaching out to them. So
Hmm.
I felt in 2021 FTI already started to become like a solidified platform for community members and artists when somebody such as yourself saw the platform as somewhere to share your music. And
Hmm.
then I think it was with one of your songs in 2022 you sent kind of like your press kit that had all of like the media companies that have like assisted you with like song promotion.
Right, right.
And when I saw like FTI Studios on there, still screenshotted in my camera roll, man. I was like, yo, this is exactly the thing I needed at this moment in time.
Hmm.
Um, and it was so fast because transitioning back into your music, you make a
Hmm.
really like alternative melodic rock, I find talking to Alex last night, I was like, man, the biggest thing I have as an insecurity interviewing musicians is describing their music without sounding like I picked the most popular three things a
Right.
musician makes. So he's like, dude, like I have that struggle as well. Like it's very
Hmm.
hard. Alex described Average James Hunter's music as post rock, and I was like, that's one I haven't heard of, but that one
Yeah.
summarizes it perfectly.
Hmm.
So when you and I first connected, you've just released at the time the 5 track EP, Becoming Routine, and the track that
Yeah.
had me hooked was the one that you sent me, which was Feels Like, and then in parentheses,
Hmm.
Baby, You're All I Know. And knowing that there was 4 additional songs in that EP was so awesome because it
Hmm.
was more of a experience for me to listen to in one long sitting as opposed to like a 2 minute song on like my daily queue at the time and
Right.
getting a little bit of a taste. I got to really hear a lot of you as my introduction. Fast forward to the present day with Surrendering Sunday, the full length album. You have it
Hmm.
both digitally and on physical outlets, and as you sort of alluded to, music planned for the future. But how would you describe your music? Would you look at it as reflections of who you were and what
Hmm.
inspired you at the time? Or would you kind of say you've already found your sound?
I think um sound and just like any sort of artistic palette, regardless of what type of art that you do. I think it's always meant to evolve. So I think to have a definitive sound, um, I think it was like Jackie, like Skrillex and Diplo, who said like they don't want to be recognized for having a signature sound, so to speak. Um, and to an extent, I kind of have adopted that sort of mentality as well because I always do want to evolve sonically and musically. But with that being said, the tough I wouldn't say necessarily a struggle, but more so the balance with it is that I actually do think genres are still important to an extent, just because like when like such as yourself, like when you discovered me for the first time, like or just when anyone discovers like a new artist or a new song for the first time, you're like, oh, what kind of genre do they do? Or like what's their sound? And it's kind of like it's kind of like a subject in school. Oh, like what do you study in school? You kind of have whether it's history or economics or something like that, right? Um, so I think I would say I am an alternative rock pop artist. It's just I draw from so many things within that umbrella. And to answer a question, does my I feel like yes, my sound does draw from like past experiences and just like who I was in the past. But that's the funny thing with music, or like just being an artist, like you kind of like make things based on real time experiences, but then by the time you put them out, those real time experiences would have been past time experiences. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's I feel like I didn't answer your question, but
No, dude,
that's
this is perfect. I was realizing I asked you like three questions in one go, and I was like, oh
Mhm.
no. But no, that's honestly perfect because you're somebody who is very well versed in like not only making your own music, but also like listening to others. Like you're inspired by a plethora of people,
Yeah.
probably more musicians that I've never heard of, or I've only ever heard like their popular songs
Hmm.
because when I was preparing for this interview, it was difficult because everything that you've ever shared on your YouTube page, I've
Right, yeah.
only ever seen like the cover arts, like on a Spotify or like a
Hmm.
HMV, but I never really like dove into like the music they made, like from Deftones to My Bloody Valentine,
Hmm.
Tyler the Creator to Prince, Billy
Hmm.
Talent to Radiohead. I don't think
Hmm.
there's a genre that you do not listen to. What
Yeah.
is it about music that kind of excites you to not only create but really continue to dive deeper into finding more?
Wow. I mean, I think, well, starting off with the YouTube thing, I think that was the main thing for starting it was just because I don't know what moment it was, but I just sat like to myself one time and was like, dude, like, yeah, I'm an artist and musician person, but I'm also still a fan of music, like a kid at the candy store. And like, I want to, sit down with the homies and like nerd out about something, and that something is music. So I guess that's what inspired the YouTube channel. Because at the risk of annoying people, like that's my favorite thing to talk about. So yeah, that's what started the YouTube channel. And I guess like what th- the motivation to keep diving deep into like whether it's a newer artist or an older artist's discography is just because these people live different lives, and by different lives like the life that you live when you're 18 is not going to be the life that you live when you're in your 40s or 50s, as is most of these legendary artists who start young and have long, luscious careers.
Yeah.
Like a David Bowie record in his early days is completely different from his last record before he passed away, Black Star. Like just hearing those two different perspectives coming from the same artist is always something that's interested me. Yeah, I'm just a nerd, man, at the end of the day, and I love studying things and I love learning things, and music is my favorite medium to do so, to receive information and in that way. Yeah.
Has there been like a musician or a band where I'm going to ask you this in both aspects, where you
Hmm.
really like their earlier stuff and didn't connect with their like later projects, or even
Hmm.
like vice versa, like the newer really captured you instead of like their earlier days?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, well, before I answer that, I'll say like at the top of my head, a band that whose discography from their very beginning to currently that has been just like solid through and through is Deftones. Like I think out of all the metal or new metal bands that have existed, their discography has aged the best, and each new thing that they keep putting out continues to be on par with what they have put out in the past. There are records of theirs that I like more than others, but none of them are flops. Like they're all great. They've all aged pretty well. So they're consistent. Who who am I? Oh man, I gotta come back to you on that, Matt.
No,
That's a
dude,
loaded one.
it's crazy because like a question like that, it kind of like can sometimes fight like that aspect of you're a fan of a musician for like the
Hmm.
music they make. For me personally, uh Tyler the Creator
Hmm.
really took me a long time to enjoy like Chromacopia or even Igor at the time,
Right.
because I was not in any aspect, and Aiden can definitely back this up. I
Right,
was
right.
not really searching for like some
Excuse
deep
me.
meaning or like a narrative to an album. I just like good
Hmm.
music at the time. And when
Right.
Aiden told me like how to like think about music and like think about the person behind it, it's always like an evolution. Another one being the Black Keys, actually.
Right, yeah.
Their album Let's Rock from 2019.
Hmm.
I hated for the longest time. I thought it was terrible. By the end of
Hmm.
2020, it was on my Spotify Wrapped because I really understood like they don't need to sound like their
Right.
2011 album. They can really evolve because exactly what you said, an album at
Hmm.
the beginning when they're in their 20s versus later in their 30s can be
Hmm.
two different aspects or eras of their career. Are you more keen to check out an independent artist's music, or are you more keen to check out music that's on like a bigger scale and like more publicly known?
Both, man. Anything. One thing that everyone who knows me closely will attest to is that whenever they recommend for me to watch anything on Netflix, like, yo, you gotta watch Bird Box, or you gotta watch, um, what's a new show? White Lotus season 3, right? I'm not gonna watch it just because I don't I don't
Yeah.
watch TV all that much anymore. Because friggin' Naruto and Game of Thrones took up most of my life. So right now I just watch the NBA and NHL playoffs. That's all I watch now.
Understood.
But for music, on the other hand, I will listen to anything and everything, whether it's a new independent artist who's on the come up, or whether it's an album within a seasoned artist discography that I hadn't checked out. I would do like, dude, I only started listening to David Bowie within these past 2 years.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I never and everyone knows who David Bowie is, right? But like I hadn't had the chance or just the want to check him out. And then um as John Baptiste said in his Grammy speech when he won Album of the Year, I forget what year it was, but he said music's supposed to find you when it's meant to.
Yes.
And I guess David Bowie just, for whatever reason, 2 years ago, that was when I needed him and his discography the most. So then, yeah, dude, like I listen to Ziggy Stardust all the time. Like that album is top 10 of all time. It's so good. But his whole discography is great, um,
The-
as most people know.
It's it's artists like David Bowie who
Hmm.
have such like a iconic like name, like a legacy like none other.
Hmm.
That like for me, for example, I would look at them as probably like a legend, but I could not tell you 5 to 10 songs by David Bowie. I just know he's
Precisely.
solidified himself as an artist. So it's exactly that. Like music and an artist finds you, and it's supposed to.
Hmm.
That's fantastic. When you're creating music, since you have
Hmm.
that quote so near and dear to your heart, do you use quotes like that to like make your next song or come up with like the theme of maybe like an EP or an album?
I think it's less about what people say and just more so like how they are and what they do. That really
Yeah.
inspires me. Me and a certain I won't name names because I don't want to put them on. It's not a negative thing, but I don't want to put anyone on blast. When we I'm of the opinion that see like let's take music, right? There's three elements to good music: lyrics, the music itself, and then like the mixing and the production of it. I think lyrics are the least important thing when it comes to
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
when it and for whatever reason that seems to bug a lot of people because a lot of people are lyric based people. And that's totally understandable because words do have power to those who if words are their main affirmation for them, let's say. For me, like it's always been about the music, and second, it's always then it's the producing and the mixing part of it. So going back to artists and how they inspire me, like just watching interviews and documentaries of David Bowie, it's less about what he said, but more so just like how he's saying it. Not about the words, but just like how he is, how he's saying it, the temperature of his mood. And that goes for all artists that I'm inspired by. Just I'm an actions guy, man. Like it's about what you do and how you are more so than it is about how you say. And yeah, it's actions of good people that constantly keep on inspiring me to not just be a good artist, but to hopefully be a good person as well. Yeah.
When I was talking to Cena on his podcast, and I'm going
Hmm.
to butcher this even though it was only a week ago, he pretty much said that those around him, especially creative people, really inspire him to
Hmm.
continue creating. And like, if you have like a homie or you know of like a collective in Toronto or anywhere rather, and he said the one thing that kind of always not scares him, but kind of keeps him on like alert is if that person were to ever stop creating, just the ripple
Hmm.
effect it would have on others to like stop creating or stop
That's
producing. And when we ended the podcast, I was just like, oh my God, yeah, 100%.
new
Because
fear unlocked.
like it's something you
Yeah.
never think about, but you're just like, because you just assume that that person's going to create forever, whether the gap between project A and project B is like a year or
Yeah.
two. You just still assume they're going to be creating. But people
Hmm.
who just cold turkey and move on to something else, he's like, you don't know the impact that you might have on someone who is low key inspired by you. And I was just like,
Dang.
holy shit. So like it's exactly what you said, like actionables and like the actions of someone to know like you're a good person because you're providing something unique and you're providing like good
Hmm.
for people. You never know who you're inspiring, and like
Hmm.
what you're helping others create. Um, let's actually go back to Johann demos really quick because I feel
Yep.
like that's a really good platform to continue the conversation. This was released at the transitional period between drums to Skype calls.
Hmm.
You released a handful of music that haven't seen the light of day, accompanied by a few music videos for songs such as Jasper and Should I Be in Love.
Hmm.
The team you did there, that's exactly, I guess, the perfect place to go. The team you were working with to help Johann put out his solo project with like a team behind him. Talk about the time period and like the people that were involved, what you learned versus what you thought you knew when you're like, wow, this is like out for the world to see.
Well, going into it, aside from uh being able to play the drums, and aside from kind of knowing how to play guitar and kind of knowing how to sing, I knew absolutely nothing. So, and I give most of like my startup, my interest and just like the beginnings of my technological skills, if you want to call them that, on like the audio engineering side. Alex Sadowski and Miguel Pulido, the two guys who produced Johann demos with me. Yeah, through those Skype mixing sessions, like I learned a lot from them. Yeah, I so on the audio engineering side, those were the two guys, and then on the visual side, uh, my brother Joey, he directed and shot the Jasper music video. Um, and for Should I Be in Love, it was a whole crew. Great director Mario Shenna, he directed it. My homie Justin Gabutin, he produced it. Shout out to all the good people at East Room too, because that's where we shot the music video. Uh, yeah, Alex was also on that set. Not Alex, Laskauskas, Alex Sadowski, David Candelaria, my other cousin Justin. Like, yeah, just all the homies. Like, they pulled through. My cousin Manny, who is one half of the legendary hip hop duo Airplane Boys, APB. That was his Porsche that we used into the Should I Be in Love video. So shout out to Manny, who's also responsible as to why I'm a musician in the first place, because watching him do his thing growing up, because there's a 9 year age gap between us. He's a lot older than me. So just seeing him do his thing, even though we're in two different genres, just seeing anyone that you're in close proximity to do their thing, uh, you can't help but be inspired. It makes it seem like anything is possible, especially as a kid who's young and impressionable and who's dying to put his foot out there. Yeah, man, I'm super thankful for all those guys. And yeah, and I'm thankful for Alex Laskauskas too, because my working relationship with him started just a little bit after Johann demos, right into. I don't want to skip right to ahead. I don't know how you're formatting this, but yeah, my a little bit after Johann demos, I started working with Alex Laskauskas on some of the becoming routine stuff. But yeah, yeah, Johann demos was such a long time ago. I know it doesn't seem that long. It's what, almost 5 years ago?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is
yeah.
5 years ago. But I guess time flies by and feels such a long time ago when you're busy just doing stuff, eh?
The amount of lives we've all lived from 2020 to 2025
Hmm.
is more than I think a lot of people realize, because like
With the
2020
pandemic, yeah.
with exactly, because those were the years that you never thought as an adult you would ever get, like just having like this free time to
Hmm.
find time to waste, I guess. But for people such as you, myself, Aiden, Shoop, just everybody, and Dylan,
Hmm.
Norman, and Couch, got to take advantage of that time and really hone in on what makes them happy.
Hmm.
And although a lot of people look at like the pandemic as like a negative aspect and a negative point in their life, I think that it really helped shape just how short life can be
Hmm.
versus, oh, well, not versus, but also added on just like how much we got to take care of what makes us happy. Because
Precisely.
to this day, there's still some people that I know of that will say like, oh, I wish I had the time that I had 5 years ago to be creating. And everybody lives a different life. I'm not discrediting that, but I
Hmm.
feel like some people are really toned in or like focused on making another company, making a business like succeed, like wherever you work,
Hmm.
versus what will make you succeed, not in like a business fame money aspect, but like as a person. So I really enjoy getting to know the stories of people I just meet at a bar, because the moment you break the ice, like last night there was a musician there, we were chatting here and there. The moment he told me that he was a musician, I went in like it was an in your studio podcast. I
Of
wanted to know
course.
everything about him. And
Of
I was just
course.
like, I was like, at Joe's house, you told me about your 9 to 5, but now you're telling me about the music you create. And look
Hmm.
at the different like reactions
Yep.
and emotions you're pouring out.
Yep.
That got 5 million different ways right there. I apologize.
It's all
Um,
good.
but something that is very known about you, and something that I
Uh-oh.
always think of, yes, is just how much you tie family, blood related, or friends into your work. You
Yeah.
always, always, always like making sure your team is not only showcased and credited, but you find ways to incorporate family and friends into the stuff you
Hmm.
do. For example, your cousin Manny from the Airplane Boys directed the music video for Surrendering Sunday. And
Yep.
then your nephew Nija played
Yep.
a younger version of yourself. What
Hmm.
is it about tying in friends and family that's so important to your art?
I think, well, that's the thing, man. Like, I'm so fortunate that both on my mom and my dad's side were just very if not musical, we're just creative people. So I'm happy to see that Nija got the bug as well because he loved being a part of that. Yeah, man, like that whole it's just family arts and crafts, man. At the end of the day, like it's to me, like obviously, the whole spectacle of shooting a music video is extra heightened and whatnot, but other than that, man, like I regard that as just another day just hanging out with family. I'm a very family oriented person and I'm very blessed to be so. Uh yeah, it's Manny shot it. Joey again, he was the one who was on camera. He was the DP for that. And Nigel's mom, my cousin Melissa, she was also the creative director of that video too. And we
Okay.
shot that in my house. Uh, and yeah, like everyone was involved. The soup that I was making in the video, I was actually cooking that in real time, so that was fun.
Yeah,
Uh,
let's go.
yeah, it's a Filipino soup called sinigang. If you're sick or hungover, that's the perfect thing to eat.
Could have used
Uh,
it this morning.
yeah, dude, honestly, I say this and I mean it every single time. Let me cook for you. Let me cook for any friend. Guys, more than anything, more than making music, I will cook for you.
I am
I,
taking you up
I,
on
I,
this.
I will. Yeah, where was I going with that? Yeah, dude. And even just the people like in the dinner table scene that we had at the final act of that music video, those are all like my friends from like elementary school and high school. Like a lot, like a mishmash of people. So yeah, man, just getting family and just other loved ones involved has always been something so key to my creative process because honestly, just because of the comfort of it.
Yeah.
And the comfort of it and the fact that people are down to do it. Because honestly, I don't know anyone in my life that doesn't have at least a little bit of a creative bone in their body, you know? Um, and I feel sorry for those who don't,
Agreed.
Um, yeah. Uh, but yeah, dude, like I'm so fortunate that that music video has been my favorite that we've shot so far, and yeah, I'm glad that you and other people really saw how familial it was, because that was the intent at the end of the day. Yeah.
I think it's just one of those like cherries on top to like you yourself as a musician and an
Mm-hmm.
individual when you get to like meet people who not only enjoy your music but want to know the person behind the music.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have a really bad time, not like a negative time, but really hard time sometime figuring out if I'm talking to the persona of a
Mm-hmm.
creator or if I'm talking to an individual who just uses the persona for like branding.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say something I hold near and dear to FTI's core values is it's all the individuals I'm talking to. And if it
Mm-hmm.
is a persona, you just see it doesn't connect right there
Mm-hmm.
because when you can talk to the person as like an authentic, true self, to who they are, for what their values are, you just really find that it can spread to others so fast and you're
Mm-hmm.
inspiring people that you don't even know, such as the friends and family that were in the music video. They saw it as an opportunity to be a part of a music video because who doesn't want to be in a music video? But you could have been the launch pad for them to now go explore creative endeavors that they never
Mm-hmm.
knew that they were going to start.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you
I'm
and
here to
I are
spread sicknesses.
right, and it's the best kind of sickness. That's so good.
I'm
You
just
and
being an idiot,
I,
sorry.
no, dude, you're fantastic, man. We're very fortunate to have such like, and I think I've said this so many times to like Hunter and Tyler and Hayden and Alex
Mm-hmm.
and Mo and Tommy. Uh, we have such a creative circle of mutual friends.
It's nuts,
Like
isn't it?
it's like mind-boggling, man. Like
Yeah.
it is like it's something I've always strived for, but I never knew
Yeah.
was like really easy in the best sense to not have anxiety about sharing who you are with
Yeah.
these people and they're
Mm-hmm.
so reciprocative, or if that's even a word, and they're so
Mm-hmm.
loving to help you launch or like you continue.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but knowing that they're there, not even to support you as a creator, but as a friend, as a
Yeah.
person, and like your friends and your family, that shit is indescribable. That
It
stuff
is.
really takes it to another level because you know if you're not in the room, and you're being talked about, it's usually always great stuff because
Hmm.
they have you around as a friend and not because you make music, you create art. Um,
Hmm.
Talk to the FTI community about some of like the creatives you've met through music, such as Alex, that have really turned into like friends you would take a bullet for, like people like that.
Ooh, man. So yes, Alex is definitely one of those. Um, and I think if we could actually rewind a little bit, um, so my mom, before she had me, she was a jazz singer here in Toronto. There was a very big um, Filipino just like jazz community that would like play different venues and stuff like that, and she was very much a part of that community before she had me. So my love for music came from her, and then with Manny doing his thing with the Airplane Boys, that's what spearheaded me to think that being a musician was possible.
Okay.
Um, so with my mom and with Manny, both of them are people. It doesn't matter if you've met them for the first time or you've met them for a second time. They will always treat you the same. They're always very welcoming, and they're always very. It's very easy to get along with them because it's very easy to like both my mom and Manny. And I'm not saying I'm like them by any stretch of the means, but I've always took that as an ethos. Like, yo, I have to treat and with no expectations or return by any means, but like I have to treat people with kindness, with generosity, and as if I would serve them dinner at my house, and that's just the kind of the life I've lived and how and I feel like just that mentality within the creative musical space has brought me friends like Alex, um, and the rest of our large ecosystem of friends that we've had, whom I've met through Alex primarily, so he's the main connective cord there. Other musicians who I consider friends, good friends of mine, Encore Sinha. He's an awesome artist from originally from Brampton, but he's based here now. I was on one of his tracks. What year is it? Again, back a couple years ago. So he's a very good friend of mine. I actually, I don't know if you saw my story, but that was his set last night that I went to.
Saw that, yes.
Yeah, please check him out. He's a wonderful artist. Very ambient, like a lot of he makes very ambient R&B textured tones that's definitely seeped into my psyche unconsciously. So Alex, Ankur, oh man, there's so many.
You could go on
Yeah,
forever.
yeah, and dude, it's such a good problem to have because like not only are these people awesome artists and awesome musicians, but they're also great people,
Yes.
which at the end of the day, I'd argue is the more important thing in one's life. Yeah, man, I'm blessed. There are a lot of people that I would go to bat and even take a bullet for. I'm happy to say, yeah.
Hell yeah. Do you have any like stories of how somebody in your circle influenced you to like change your perspective on something or like really like guided you towards like I guess like improving yourself, but really like taking a leap forward, maybe where somewhere you were like hesitant?
Ooh. Man, I gotta give it to Manny again. That's just the number one thing. Like, he's even like music aside, that guy is just he's my big brother. I am the older sibling between my brother and and uh, I don't know if you have any siblings.
One,
Do you?
yes.
One? Are you
Yeah,
the older sibling or the younger sibling?
the younger sibling.
You're the younger sibling. Okay. So for us older siblings, we also desperately want to have an older sibling. You know what I mean? And Manny has always been that for me. Um, yeah, just I can't. Just and if you have the pleasure of meeting him one day, he's such a good spokesman. He's good at motivating people. But more than that, like just his actions, seeing what he's done over the years. You know, not to get too because this is not his interview, not to get too in the nitty-gritty of his career, but him and his partner Jay, so those two guys are the Airplane Boys. They got to play Coachella. What year was it? 2011, 2012.
Oh
Yeah,
my
so just
god.
dude, imagine like imagine just being a preteen or a teenager and like knowing that your big cousin, your big bro is playing Coachella and you're like, dang, bro. And I'm one of those guys who's like, yo, if he could do that, I could do that too. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, 100%.
it's so I accredit everything on terms of just like the motor to create and the motor to pursue art, any sort of artistic pursuit is from him. And that's why I'm stoked that he wanted to jump on Surrendering Sunday and direct it. Dude, he wrote Feels Like with me. I just thought about that. Yeah. I just I just remember that now. Yeah,
Dude,
he wrote Feels Like with me. Yeah, so if any inspiration, it definitely comes from Manny for sure.
Manny. That I've seen Manny's work here and there because like you sharing it.
Mm-hmm.
I think no, I'm pretty confident he's definitely followed because I see his post on the FTI's Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And it's another one of those things where like people in your family, you have like a creative bone in your family
Mm-hmm.
that really continue to like push each other, both as people, both as artists.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side of the coin, which I find really freaking cool, but I'm also really biased because I've been watching it for 20 years, is Joey in the wrestling world. And let me tell you, three
Dude.
weeks ago, probably a month ago at this point, when WrestleMania was in Las Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really good friends with the Dynasty member D Smith, Derek Smith. He's like one of my closest friends in real life. And
Matt,
then yeah,
Matt, can I stop you for a second? Can
yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off, but for the rest of this interview, can we just talk about Joey? Because like I'm literally
Yo.
more excited to talk about my brother than I am for me. Like it's, dude, I'm so proud. Sorry to cut you off, but like
No,
you could
dude.
see how I'm so amped to talk about him and his wrestling. Like it's like that's another thing that I nerd out about the most too. So please continue. Yeah.
Man, I feel like it was like one of those things where I could have made the assumption that
Hmm.
like Joey knew like Mikey Truth and Jackson Roy because they all wrestle out of like Toronto and the GTA
In Battle Arts, yeah.
in Battle Arts, with whether it's like the Battle Arts show or the Dynasty show or the Destiny
Hmm.
shows rather. And then when I saw them posted up in Las Vegas with like the
Hmm.
Boogeyman and Mick Foley and like
Yep.
the random wrestling events and
Yep.
WrestleCon, it was a
Yep.
full circle moment for me because I know these guys. I don't know Joey, but I was like, this makes sense because Joey is in that world.
Hmm.
From your perspective to Joey, what was his beginning like versus how did it get you to catch the bug to follow his career?
So well, it was our mom for sure. It's her fault. It's completely her fault. Whatever genetic bug that we caught to be creative, it was definitely her fault. Because my mom, she has like VHS tapes. Remember those?
Yes, yes,
She
sir.
has hey kids, you remember those? Yeah, she so just watching like tapes of her shows growing up, I've always loved the music parts, right?
Mhm.
And like the band oriented stuff. Joey, my mom always wore like the most elaborate dresses ever. And I
Yeah,
think that's what appealed to Joe the most. So like even before he was a wrestler, Joe was always into fashion. He was always into dressing like a peacock or a flamingo, just very colorful, very loud. Because that's who he is, you know, he's very loud, very confident, very when he's in a room, like people are just drawn to him. Like that's my brother for sure. Like in
right.
high school, I was Joey's older brother. I wasn't Johan. I was Joey's older brother. Hey, which honestly, like that's just who we are. We're two different personalities, but that's why we get along so well because we bounce off one another. Yeah, no. So from fashion, and then he just decided, I don't know. You got to get him on here, bro. You got
I
to get
agree.
Joey on.
Agreed.
You gotta because I think obviously I know you love music, but like I know the FTI community is like a big WWE fan base as well. Because like so am I, you know, like
Yeah.
honestly, dude, the dream is to see or to have Joey like wrestle a main event in WrestleMania one day, and for me and the guys to be playing his theme song live. Like that's the
Dude,
goal.
that is such an
That's the
like
goal.
The coolest thing nowadays, and it's really funny because some like old heads who think they write the scripts,
Mm-hmm.
wrestling is so much more accessible and achievable than it ever
Mm-hmm.
has been because you have like your WWEs, you have your
Mm-hmm.
AEWs, your
Mm-hmm.
TNAs, like
Exactly.
all these promotions
All these
that are
indie promotions, well, as well. Yeah.
and, and they're so widely known that like
Mm-hmm.
their biggest show could be seen on the same like level of importance as a WrestleMania. Of course, WrestleMania is just like a spectacle, but that's because it's
Mm-hmm.
been going for 40 years. But
Mm-hmm.
like with AEW coming out in 2019, their pay-per-views, I would argue, can sometimes compete with a WrestleMania card.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many opportunities to like
Yeah.
fuse your music with Joey's passion for wrestling, and it just
Mm-hmm.
comes together because to be a wrestler nowadays as well, you need someone that stands out, and it's usually
Mm-hmm.
the outfits. Like Seth frickin' Rollins, man.
Yeah.
My mom and Danielle absolutely love wrestling, but they
Mm-hmm.
love seeing what Seth wears every Monday. And it's
Yep.
things like that connect you to a character, and then
Yep.
the music ties it in. So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that's a really achievable goal, whether it's WrestleMania, whether it's an AEW, whether it's at Battle Arts. It's
Yep.
just so achievable because I guess at the same time, it's less work for the creators and the promoters to put on because you have a wrestler willing to bring all the tools to make
Mm-hmm.
them have like this giant persona that's
Mm-hmm.
larger than life.
Yep. Yeah. I I forget what pay-per-view or what occasion that was, but when I saw Rhea Ripley walk out and Motionless in White was performing her theme song live, I'm like, yo, that's it right there.
It's possible. Yeah.
Yeah, like I looked at Joey, I'm like, dude, that's like because Rhea Ripley's obviously a wrestler, that's the connective tissue to Joey. I'm a metalcore kid, I'm a core kid, so just seeing Motionless do their thing on such a big stage, like I'm like, dude, we have to strive for that. And I think if that were to, when that happens, I'm retiring. That's it. I'm done with
Right there.
music.
You can't do anything bigger.
I'm done with music. You want? Yeah, man. That's oh man, dude. This family, it's music and wrestling. Like
Yeah,
that's my
man.
family. It's legit. That's yeah, all the nieces and nephews. It's either Uncle Johann and his music or Uncle Joey and his
It's
wrestling.
wrestling. Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's that bug, man. Like, and it's really funny because for me, I'm like you with music, being an
Hmm.
encyclopedia. That's me with wrestling, and it's just
Hmm.
like the little things that you think everybody would pick up over time, and like everybody would understand like the
Hmm.
lore and the history of why these guys are fighting. But
Hmm.
people like Danielle will go like, "Why do these two have beef?" Then I'll
Hmm.
explain a match in like 2009 that equals to
Yeah,
what happened today. So the
precisely.
motionless in white performance was really cool
Yeah.
because as at WrestleMania 40 when they were playing Rhea Ripley out,
So it
I
was
said, "Oh
WrestleMania.
yes, yeah." In
Okay.
Philadelphia, I was like, Rhea Ripley literally had these guys as a poster on her wall that she
Yeah.
shared on like Instagram or I guess Twitter, and
Yeah.
now it's being played out. And I was like, anything's possible, but
Yeah.
to this day, and it's also really funny because wrestling to like people who don't understand it just think it's like one big scripted show, but there's like these characters with like these core elements and these core
Yeah.
values. When Daniel Bryan returned in March 2018 to come back from a 2-year neck injury, he
Hmm.
literally said, if you fight for your dreams will fight for you. And when
Yeah.
I'm at like my lowest creative rut, I don't want to do anything. I just think of that Daniel Bryan promo, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, that gets me. That gets me motivated. That gets me out of bed. And then in
His promos are so
2021,
tough.
yo, Daniel Bryan, just as a person, is so self aware of not
Yeah.
only wrestling, but like he doesn't want to be a parody of himself. And I
Yeah.
think that's such a big thing because nowadays wrestlers will come back for their 70th retirement match like Ric Flair and really ruin the legacy that they left behind.
Hmm.
Right now, Cena's in the midst of this really controversial heel turn that people are
Yeah.
like arguing, like
The kids were
he's
crying. Yep.
yeah, and like there's literal neckbeards on Twitter talking about how they would have booked it, and it's like Cena's having fun with his last year because
Hmm.
this is Cena's last year, and
Hmm.
if there's anybody I can believe that would not come back after the date they gave you, it would be Cena.
Yeah.
So in 2021, John Cena released a book called oh god, I have it in my head. Essentially, it's a book where it's a bunch of like quotes and like passages that Cena himself wrote. And in
Mm-hmm.
2021, I used to just grab the book, put my finger in it, open it, and that was my like motivation of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got to a point where I was like, oh my God, this book really has changed my outlook on like life and how to like take
Mm-hmm.
on life. So although wrestling is baby oil and spandex tights jumping on each other, it is so much more when you give it like
Dude,
that attention.
yeah, it's and obviously like I'm pretty sure Joey and I started watching wrestling around the same time when we were kids. Like we're only 2 years apart, so like we've kind of just like consumed the same media growing up, music and wrestling. But it's like just seeing him doing seeing Joey like pursue his career, getting that green light, being an actual professional wrestler, just it only just heightens my love and understanding for it because like he works so hard. um he's like just not even like the fit because dude, I've seen my brother in a cage match before. That shit's real. He got
That shit,
thrown
yeah.
on, yeah, like scripted or whatever, but dude, getting thrown onto a cage by another guy is real as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So it's like just seeing that and the willingness to do that and the love of not just the physical aspect of wrestling, but the theatrical aspect of wrestling, like it's such a mesmerizing thing. And I'm so proud of him and I'm so happy that on a selfish note, I have like another conduit to fulfill my love for wrestling. Matt, who's your favorite wrestler of all time or top three, if that's not that hard of a question to answer for you?
So all time, September
Yeah.
2006, the first guy I saw on TV was Jeff Hardy. To this
Ah,
day,
yep.
number one, like
That's
just
Joey's favorite
just
wrestler too.
about everything about that guy.
Dude,
Like he's
goat.
so authentically himself,
Mm-hmm.
and like people still like expect like the 2002 Jeff Hardy jumping off stuff in 2025. But
Mm-hmm.
this man's still out here doing the Hardy juke. The man's still out here putting his
Yep.
face paint on and being so
Yep.
expressive. And
Yep.
then from there, I'm a big fucking punk guy. Like it's funny
Yep.
because I
They
collect way too many punk and Jeff Hardys.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
yes,
that's
sir.
rad. That's so rad.
Thank you. Danielle and I put at Walmart you can buy little championship bracelets. So we
Mm-hmm.
put them on the Yoshis because they fit
Awesome.
perfectly.
Dude,
Uh,
that's awesome.
I I have too big of a love for professional wrestling
Mm-hmm.
that when it like right now when it comes time to talk about it, I'm looking and I'm just like, oh my God, who are my favorites? But if I had to pick one, it
It's
would
Jeff
be
Hardy.
Hardy. Who about you?
Right. Uh, I do love Jeff and I do love Matt, the Hardy Boys, because two brothers, me and Joey, Matt and Jeff. So, uh, however, my guy of all time is Rey Mysterio for sure.
Right, yes, sir.
So
And
like,
Dominic is killing it too.
yeah, so like this luchador mask,
Dude.
I got this because of my brother. Because
Yeah.
I have a tattoo for both my mom and my dad, but I at the time I didn't have a tattoo for my brother. We both love Nacho Libre. That's like top three movies for me, so I got that for him. But dude, this is also kind of like a Rey Mysterio tribute mask too, because it's a lucha mask. Yeah, no, Rey. Uh, because he's like a small dude. I'm a small dude, so it's like just to see the grandeur and like the effect and the show that he puts on for everybody, uh, how he represents Latino culture, like that community. Yeah, it's uh, I, dude, Matt, me and Joey. Oh, maybe no, I'm not gonna spoil it here, but there
Yeah.
for my YouTube channel, just by me saying that, I think you could kind of think that you know what I'm gonna be cooking for
Yeah.
another tier list of sorts. Yep.
Dude, I will be the first one in the
Yep.
comments.
I
And
will
I
be the
will
first one to send it to you. Or you will be the
let's
first one I'll send it to
go.
you. Yeah.
I what I really love about Rey Mysterio
Hmm.
is just like the 30 plus year career, but
Dude,
he's
yeah.
he's always finding innovative ways to like still excite a crowd. Mind
Yeah.
you, it's a lot of stem cells, which is even incredible because he's keeping his body really healthy.
Yep.
But Ray has done what is so hard for like some to do, other than like a Cody Rhodes or a Randy Orton,
Hmm.
where your son is
Yep.
just as big of a star for his own reasons.
Yep.
I fucking love Dominic Mysterio
I
because he
love
has
him
an
too.
authentic hate with the crowd that at
Mm-hmm.
Mania 41 the other week, when they cheered him out of the building, it's because they said, "We've hated you for so long, but we know you deserve this because you put in
Mm-hmm.
work to make us
Yeah.
hate you."
Yeah.
So when you have like a Randy Orton being a third generation wrestler or a Cody Rhodes, it's
Yeah.
really cool that technically Dominic is at like the same generation mark as them,
Yeah.
being like another wrestler's son,
Yeah.
because people were like, oh, he'll just be like a Mysterio and that's how he'll get his
Yeah.
ride. No, it's a
It,
whole other
dude,
ballpark.
wrestling is such a like shout out the Usos too. Like they're such a generational thing. Like that Anoa'i Fatu family. Like
Huge
just
family.
yeah, dude, huge family, both in size and in numbers. Like they're yeah, that man, just like you're saying, dude, just like the generations that go into this business, it and into this sport, it's such an awesome thing to see. And I'm happy that my brother is now officially a part of it. So yeah, man.
Hell yes. Uh, Vulnerability is something I really enjoy talking to with absolutely everybody on the
Hmm.
podcast because it's really easy to assume that vulnerability goes into everybody's works because you're creating something that's you, releasing it to the world. But what I find so interesting and what always hooks me to ask everybody the question is just how they explore being vulnerable to
Hmm.
put it either in their work or like the perception of others viewing their work. How does vulnerability affect the way you create, whether it's music, whether it's directing a music video, or like honestly, whether it's working with Joey to maybe come up with something where you're like, we could do this together, but like it comes at the cost of really being vulnerable.
Well, I guess vulnerability is obviously a very scary thing to most people. And for me, like I'm not the most outspoken verbal person as well. Like I mean, we've been in same rooms together. Like I'm definitely more privy to one-on-one conversations like this. But like in group settings, I'm usually the guy who just like smiles and observes and just listens to other people. Uh, and that's just who I am, you know? And I think that's what's good about music is because I really, for me, all my songs are like autobiographical because I don't know how to write fictional stuff, especially if it involves me. So like everything, at least lyrically, stems from an experience, a relationship, a feeling, a thought. And I think that's the beautiful thing about music is that it allows you to be vulnerable without having to, um, like, it allows you to be vulnerable in like a protective space. Because obviously music is like is an audio thing, but like putting the words and putting the sound into that kind of medium, it kind of it's protective in a way, which kind of seems silly because you are putting it out there for however how many people to listen to it. But yeah, man, I don't know how to write music without being vulnerable because that's the only way to do it, I think. So vulnerability, yes, is scary. It's a scary thing to feel. It's a scary thing to experience, but putting it into music, I'm not scared of that at all. It's like writing a deep dark secret into a piece of paper and then throwing it into the fire. It's that
Yes.
same thing. If that's a good analogy to represent it, yeah, it's that same sentiment for sure.
How do you handle the perception of others? Like, is it something you like crave seeing, like how someone could perceive a song of yours versus what you really meant behind it? Or do you sometimes go like, oh, I didn't really get what I wanted out there if they're perceiving it that way?
To quote another artist, because
Yes.
that's me, quotables. Um, yeah, when The Weeknd dropped his documentary for Kissland, that second album of his, I forget what year that was, but it was a long time ago. He said that the song only belongs to him when he's working on it, but then once it hits like the market and once it's out there for the public to consume, it's no longer his. So to me, same thing, you know, like uh most like most of the stuff that I write, obviously I have my own perspective on it because I'm the one who lived it, and then therefore I'm the one putting it on the paper. But if like I guess a good example is with Surrendering Sunday, I wrote that about a relationship. Well, not even a relationship, but just someone I was seeing at the time. And just I stayed over at her house on a Saturday night, and then on the Sunday morning that I was driving home, I wrote that on that drive home, you know? And then when my mom heard it for the first time, God bless her soul, she received it as a very biblical kind of song, like in a
Understood.
religious way. And I'm like, huh, which is, and she's not the only one who's received it like that. Like, and I think, uh, like ever since like going back to the music video that we shot, now like I've even forgotten that the song is originally about a girl because the meaning has changed so much over time,
Yeah.
especially with that video and with, whether it's my mom or whether it's you, just like, telling me different things on how they receive the song. Because like all of our perspectives are valid, man. Like just because I'm the one who did it, it doesn't mean that who another listener's reception of it isn't up to par with mine. Everything. I welcome any and all interpretations of my work, and it just makes it more fun that way. It spices things up, I think.
And it really connects you to what you're creating because you're not like allowing like yes or no, but you're
Mm-hmm.
really allowing the thoughts and the perspectives of others to really encourage you to view it from their aspect instead of being like chimed in on only yours. And
Exactly.
I think that's so important, even as a person, to like always be receptive to what you're doing and how it might affect like the people around you. Because I
Mm-hmm.
know for me personally, I'm a very like outgoing. At times, I might say way too much. That's like verbal diarrhea. But I also, at the back of my mind, I'm like, oh my god, am I talking too much? Am I being perceived way different than I want to be? And then at the end of the day, I really
Mm-hmm.
realize it's just like that's just authentically me, and how you take that on.
You're
I'm
living
always
your
going to be,
truth.
yeah, you're living exactly. You're living your truth. Um, so I feel like this conversation, and I say it a lot, and I really hope that this resonates and that I mean it from the bottom of my heart. This conversation happened at the best time because there
Mm-hmm.
was so many things where getting your perspective and not only your music, but like how your mind works with like including family, including like vulnerability, really is influence and is going to change my perspective on how I can take things on as an individual, as a creative, how I can talk to more musicians instead of just hitting ABC in like a routine way. Really being
Mm-hmm.
able to explore so much more with your opinion, Cena's opinion, Hunter's opinion, and mine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this next part kind of puts a bow on everything. And I tell people it is the hardest three questions of the podcast because
Let's go.
it's one of the things where you hear it and you're just like, dude, like there's millions I can name.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, put the FTI community on to something new, whether it be music,
Something new.
film, just like something where you're like, I enjoy this a lot. You need to
Yeah.
check this out. I love that every time.
What's up? Oh man. Something new.
Do you have like a band or like an artist where like you're really hooked on like their sound right now?
I'm gonna pull up. Let me pull up the old spotty here. Let's see. Let's see what I've been bumping as of late.
I right now I'm a big advocate and a big politician for Half Alive. I just saw them in Toronto the other week, so like
Oh
I
yeah? Yeah,
will
how was
I
that?
will dude, I've never watched a performance incorporate
Mm-hmm.
dance, but like their dances were so intricate that
Mm-hmm.
you really had to like think about like why they're like dancing that certain way, but then you
Mm-hmm.
totally forget the musician or the singers to the left of them. So it's almost
Mm-hmm.
two shows in one. So when I tell people to listen to Half Alive, I'm like, you gotta listen because A, B, C, D, and you gotta like really tune in. Like you have to listen to the song over and over and over again instead of just saying, I like Half Alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, like I did you story that? Because I
Yes,
think you did. Yeah, because that looks sick. Yeah, I was like,
it
I don't
is
know who
the
that is, but that
coolest.
looks sick.
They're so good, man. They're so
Hell yeah.
good.
Okay, let me see, because I genuinely want to answer your question. Okay. So for here are some bands and artists, FTI community, listen up. So if you want to listen to stuff that's relatively like in my world, I guess, so to speak. Uh, I mean, everyone knows this, but like shout out Soft Cult from Kitchener, my favorite twin sisters in the game right now. There's Rocket, Mood Ring, Druidess, Paint. Uh, there is a band from Japan called Kid Blue. Wait, nope, that's their song. That's not the band's name. What's the band's name? I need to shout them out properly. Um, they're yeah, no, it is Kid Blue. Yep, Kid Blue from Japan. Um, uh, for the metal side of things, shout out metal and metalcore. Obviously Loathe, Spirit Box. Like I saw them at the Woodbine Casino. Phenomenal. Um, yeah, honestly, most of my stuff, like I'm a core kid till I die. So yeah, the two bands that I've been listening to from that, like just heavy music world is Loathe and Spirit Box for sure. Um, but the album that I've been bumping consistently since forever and it hasn't changed would be The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill by Miss Lauryn Hill. Like that's to me that's my favorite hip hop R&B record of all time. It's the only CD I have in my 2010 Honda Civic because our aux cord does not work. So we only play CDs. Honestly, dude, I love CDs, so it's not a problem for me. I don't have a vinyl record player or anything, so I just have CDs. So that's the if I'm taking a CD in my car with me, it's that.
Hell
So
yes.
if you are so if anyone in FTI who I'm surprised wouldn't have listened to that album, please listen to Miss Lauryn Hill. She's my favorite MC, one of my favorite singers of all time, and that the fact that that's her only album, insane. Like she dropped one of the goated albums of all time. I was like, "Yep, I'm done."
I'm tied.
Like,
I'm
like,
goodbye.
like, dude, just imagine doing that. Like having that awesome of a work and saying peace.
Can't top it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's insane. Um, like what else, dude? Just like just music stuff, or like what else
That's
do you want from
honestly
me?
no, that's honestly perfect.
Okay.
I think that what's really cool, and I can't believe I didn't mention it this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Surrendering Sunday was the first CD that was my 2011 Nissan Rogues like enter. Like, sorry, that was like a
Hell
first
yeah,
car, yeah.
dude.
But yeah, Surrendering Sunday was the first CD that went in my car.
Awesome,
'Cause
man. I'm honored.
it was so cool because like I remember I don't know if I texted you it or like I was
Mm-hmm.
just like I want a CD, but I knew I was getting like the Nissan. It's a 2011, so I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
thank God it's on a computer. I just want the A to B, the simplistic stuff in the
Yep.
car. And then
Exactly.
that
Yep.
summer, I bought so many CDs like
Hell
Billy
yeah, man.
Talent Live, Rainbow Kid. Dude, that is the one of the best live albums that have really
Mm-hmm.
put me on to only listening to like live concerts on YouTube. Um,
Yeah.
Rainbow Kid Surprise is another one.
Yep.
Um, and when I saw that Foster the People was releasing a new album, they have that song
Mm-hmm.
Lost in Space. I was like, it's a really sick. I'm gonna send you it
I
after this.
yeah, dude.
Uh, I bought the CD for that, but I want to tell you it's one of my least played songs on that CD because every other one is just as damn good. So
Yeah,
like
of
the
course.
incredible.
Mm-hmm.
This next one, and I feel like you could name a huge list as well. An
Mm-hmm.
independent artist or collective from your world that we could share in common, but more so someone where you think the FTI community needs to see their work.
Well, I mentioned him already, but Encore Sinha. Please go check him out. Uh, they're playing the show with us on the 23rd, but Vacant Space. My brother's in Vacant Space. Um, I believe they're gonna drop a project as well. I'm obviously not in their band, so I don't know to the extent what their project is, but please go check them out. Please go watch them live. They're one of my favorite, like, I say this about everybody, but like we're honestly, Matt, you and I are blessed to have such talented like just live acts as friends, you know?
Agreed.
Like
Yep.
yeah, it's whether it's Excuse Me, whether it's Animal Boy, whether it's Vacant Space, She Bad, um, Courtyard, like everybody, they're all so good. Um, yeah, I mean, everyone that I want to put on is like who we have in common. I think
Yes, yes, sir.
we
Yes, sir.
like Matt, we have the same ecosystem, my dude. So yeah, everyone that I've mentioned, obviously Hunter, Average James, This Is Absurd, phenomenal album as well.
Great project.
Great project. Uh yeah, dude. Uh See, this is the problem. This is the good problem is that like we have so many artistic and talented friends that if we're gonna put on someone, scroll.
You gotta do it. Yeah, yeah. We
Yeah.
can't leave one out.
Yeah, we can't leave
Uh,
one out.
I had such bad imposter syndrome last night
Hmm.
because well, like the Excuse Me lads were there, or like the majority were there. Uh,
Hmm.
Animal Boy, Tommy Mo,
Hmm.
and others were there, and I've always been at the front of the crowd to like scream their music, and
Yep.
now having that privilege to call them friends and good
Yep.
friends, man, talking to them, I sometimes
Hmm.
dissociate that like we're friends, like we're really we're homies now, and it's
Yep.
such a cool feeling because Mo and I, we when we say like, oh, how's it going, we always answer so good, and I was
Hmm.
like, Mo, do you notice how we say it every time? He's like, yep. And I was like, yep. Like, they're just such cool people.
Mo, another big WWE fan. If I were to start a WWE podcast, it would be me, you, and them. Like that's
Dude, yes, sir.
like, and Joey, obviously, but like, yeah, yeah, dude, we should like get on that.
I'd be down. It would
Yeah.
just be it would be a regular weekday night for me to talk
Yep.
about
Yep.
wrestling.
Just another Tuesday. You know, just a post commentary on what happened on Monday Night Raw. You know,
Dude.
yeah,
This last one, it is
yep.
the hardest question, but I know you're gonna answer it flawlessly. Plug yourself. Other than the show tonight going down at the art bar, if this is lined up perfectly, and I've said it 3 times, so now it needs to be. What is going on in your world? Where can people find you?
Uh, First of all, I want to say thank you to Matt and to the FTI community for having me. This was awesome. The show, which is happening tonight or today, whenever whenever Matt drops this, we're gonna be at Art Bar. That is 37 Quebec Street in Guelph, Ontario. So if you're nearby, or if you want to, mission all the way to watch us, please come through. It'll be a fun night. We're with Vacant Space and Lost in Red. We're also gonna be dropping a new song that day as well, during the show, because our last show in Supermarket, we played an unreleased song, which is this song. And everyone was like, yo, so when's that coming out? It's coming out that show. So if you want to see that, please come to the show at Art Bar today, Friday, May 23rd. Um, yeah, I mean, I hope everyone's doing well. It's the month of May, so happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Um, yeah, thanks everybody. This has been
Hell
great.
yeah. This was a very long time coming. This is
Yeah.
such a cool thing that I have like the opportunity to do because I feel like it's friends like you who really shine a light on how to think about things. And I know we just talked about it like 10 minutes
Hmm.
ago, but these, although they're for the FTI community to listen to, at the end of the day, it's for me to learn a lot more about myself and learn about the person I'm talking to. So I
Hmm.
thank you. I appreciate this a lot. I'll be on Doors tonight. Come say hi. Come rock out. Alex will be on stage. He told me last night.
Yep.
I hope everybody has a fantastic Friday, a drive to work. If you're listening to this while falling asleep, or if you're just chilling listening to a podcast, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you tonight. Much love.